Tuesday.
Sorry about that, y'all. I forgot to turn on, and my truck picked up the Bluetooth, and it was doing some crazy stuff. So that's why we had to end real quick, make that adjustment, and come on back. See, I'm new to this thing. So anyway, how y'all feeling this morning? How you feeling?
I'm great. I'm awesome.
Sleep well?
No.
I was actually up at 4 o'clock this morning because I was excited about this topic.
Yes, you were.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm always excited. Always excited.
All right, so whenever you're ready, dive right on in. Woman had to try to say
So we're talking about, what we talking about today? Conflict resolution?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to read your notes.
No, read your notes.
Read your notes.
Read your notes. She's trying to steal my notes. No, read yours. Them good.
You told me, you said, when I gave you my notes.
Read your notes. See, look at this conflict right here.
So I just want to freestyle. I just want to talk about conflict and what it is. Because I think, I don't want people to think we don't have disagreements or conflict. But I want, us to discuss how we handle them.
I'm with it.
Okay.
So we be having conflicts.
I said that. You have to repeat it. I mean, I said that. So, now, do you think we have conflicts? We do? Okay. How do we handle conflict?
Well, let's identify what a conflict is.
Very good, very good.
Make sure that people understand it. Yes.
Okay. I think it's a disagreement. It's a disagreement. Opposing opinions.
That's good right there.
That's good?
That's real good. Opposing opinions.
Yeah.
So you have two people looking at the same situation, but having different opinions about it. And there's nothing wrong with having different opinions about it, because that actually makes you unique. It's good to have different opinions, because could you imagine if everybody thought the exact same way you did, how boring this life would be?
Boring.
I mean,
we'd be robots.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. So having the conflict is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just opposing opinions. But how do you handle conflict?
I'm childish. That is probably not one of my good areas. I'm childish.
So how do you handle it?
I have a disagreement. I mean, it just depends. Me, I like to think about it. So I'm not quick on the trigger. I'm very careful with my words. So I want to think about it first. I want to make sure I'm not having too much emotion, so I don't react. So that's normally how I try to handle it. So I need time to think about it before I approach the situation. That's me.
So while you're thinking about it, what do you do?
I think.
What does that look like? Okay, so quiet is what we're able to see.
Yeah, I'm a quiet resolution person.
And so when you get quiet, that means you're thinking. And when you're thinking, you're what? Processing?
Yeah, I'm processing.
I can relate to that because that's what I do.
I'm a processor. But not all the time. I will say it's times when I think the people closest to me, I'm very careful. Some people you can say stuff, right? But the people closest to you that you don't want to offend or hurt, you try to be careful with your words. why I need to process. But I try to process me. Am I overreacting? Is this, why am I feeling this way before I talk about it? And then I want to be careful with my words as well to make sure that I'm saying what I truly mean. When I'm emotional, I might not say it. I get confused, or you get mixed up. So then you're talking and not able to effectively uh, communicate how you feel.
I heard there was a pastor one time. He made a comment and he said, "You can actually speak without thinking, but you can't think without using words." And it was actually very good, because you can actually speak without thinking, but you can't think without using words. That's good, because a lot of times we respond out of emotion without processing what we want to say. And then, because words are actually seeds, sometimes we say something out of the emotion that can cause detriment to relationships. And, people have lost their lives simply because they responded verbally via emotion. And it's a powerful thing. To quiet is very, very powerful. My grandmother used to tell me, if you don't have something good to say, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah.
Grandmother said that too.
Yeah.
You don't have the same grandmother.
I hope not. Well, none of us the same grandmother.
My dad was something else, bro.
Did you invite me on here?
I did. I invited you. I tagged you on there.
Yeah, but this is different. Turn the camera. On the camera.
No, you don't have to hit that. But you're watching. I saw your name pop up.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw your name pop up. Yeah, but there is your way of dealing with resolutions, with conflict. There is my way of dealing with conflict, but then there's also a God's way of dealing with conflict.
Yeah.
And so what I'm learning, before I go there, let me express how I deal with conflict. What I used to do, and I don't do as much anymore because I know I'm learning better, but what I used to do is I get extremely quiet. But in that quiet, I'm not processing how I can make things better. In that quiet, I'm processing how I can set myself up in case things go wrong, undesired results. In other words, if a person's gonna, like, let's say in relationships, if a person's gonna leave, you ain't gonna leave me stuck out. I was processing in that manner, and that's not good either. Now, I've always been the person that I try and be quiet. As long as I'm talking, I'm really not mad. But when I get quiet, I'm in my head. I'm thinking of all kind of stuff. Back in the day, that was not good, because I was thinking of how I'm going to hurt this person, sometimes physically. And so, but like I said, because I'm learning better now, sometimes I still get quiet, but my processing in my quietness is different.
Yeah.
So, read what was that you had you said to me?
Okay. Hold on.
Let's look at God's way of dealing with conflict, resolving conflict.
So mine, Jesus outlines a process for resolving conflicts with one another. And I got it from Matthew 18:15-17. And I'm going to sum it up, but basically, if someone does something to you, go and point it out to them one-on-one, or go talk to them. And, sometimes people do something and we're offended or we're hurt, and we just either let it go or we're mad at that person, and they have no clue. They have no clue, or not talk to them. So here it outlines that you got to go talk to them first. Now, don't talk to other people about it. You need to talk to them one-on-one about it.
Right.
So that was good, because many times we just say forget it. But if you value the relationship, and we should, it's important to let your brother know, or let me know if I offended you.
Right. A lot of times people, like you said, people don't know that they've done something to offend. And what's powerful in that scripture is that they offended you, but God's way of doing things, the kingdom's way of doing things, is even though you're the one that was offended, God says you go to your brother. So the responsibility is on you and not the other person, because you can't control what the other person's going to do. The only person you can control is yourself. So you take the responsibility and you go to that person and try and work it out.
Yeah.
I think in there it said if a brother sinned against you, is that the word he used?
Yes.
They sin against you. So you have to also understand what that word sin means. It's not talking about if the brother smokes or drinks and lies, all this other stuff that we call sin. Let me back up a little bit. In order to understand what words mean, you have to go back to its original place that it was used and understand that meaning. You have to take into consideration that meaning. So the first time sin was used is back in Genesis. Sin was with Adam and Eve. So sin basically means separation. That's what the root word of sin means, separation. Now, all the stuff that we label as sin are basically a result of separation. Separation from God is sin. That's what sin is. So the smoking, the drinking, the promiscuity, how do you say
promiscuity?
That word right there. So look at that high five. So all of those things are a result of a separation from God. So in that scripture, when a person does something that causes separation between you and them, God puts the responsibility on us, because we should know better, to go to that person and go to them with the mindset of, let's work this out, let's make this thing better, let's go with the mindset of love and try and fix it. And if you can't get through to them because maybe they might be mad or whatever, then it says, okay, we're going to go back again, but this time we're going to take 2 or 3 witnesses. Okay, now my question is, what are those witnesses for? That's a good question, right? I mean, why would you take 3 witnesses, 2 or 3 witnesses? Okay, I believe that the purpose of those witnesses is because a lot of times, well, first of all, some time has gone by, which gives the other person time to calm down, because if they're not receiving it directly from you, there may be some tension there. And when you bring 2 or 3 other people there, what it would do is it will help minimize the tension in the conversation, and it will also allow the witnesses to see what's said, what's being said, and help to navigate the conversation with the mindset of let's bring a resolution to it. Okay, and then I think later in that scripture says, if they still don't hear, then you bring them to the church. Well, that's not talking about putting the person on Front Street, like what we call church today. That's not what that's talking about. In that day, a church was a body of it was almost like a Congress type of atmosphere, like a board of trustees and things like that. So it was like, okay, bring them in front of a board of trustees and work things out, kind of like a court setting. That's what it's talking about. So it's not saying go to what we call church today. I call them meeting places, and you get on the mic to testify, and you tell everybody in the audience what brother so and so has done to wrong you. That's not what it's talking about, because again, the mindset is to reconcile the relationship between you and your brother or your sister.
Okay.
So Now, that's between somebody that's outside of your household. So, how do you reconcile conflict in a relationship between a husband and wife?
Well,
Because the dynamics are a little bit different.
they're different. They're different. Me.
When I get on your nerves.
Oh, when you get on my nerves.
It's not that often.
What you say?
It's not that often.
You have nothing nice to say. You don't say nothing at all. No, not really, you don't. But sometimes when you do, in my head, I have turned you into a standing tree. That's what
A standing tree.
Yeah, just a tree. Just be still. Just a whooping tree.
Explain that.
No.
So you turned me into a tree?
Yeah. No. I'm just
okay.
No,
I got a picture of a tree.
I know you take everything literally, very analytical. No, how do when you get on my nerves? What happens? I think about it. I have to think about it, and then I think about your character. I think about a lot of things before I think that the act or what you did to offend me was it on purpose or I try to evaluate the situation first to decide even if I want to talk about it or not. Then if I want to talk about it, I have to decide how to present it to you, so that you can digest it. Everybody can't just come straight out because I don't want you to be defensive. So I present it to you in a way that is palatable and you're able to receive the message. And it's not about right or wrong or anything like that. It's just from a perspective of understanding.
Right.
I want you to understand this. You don't necessarily even have to agree with me, but I do want you to understand. And if necessary, we can come to some kind of resolution or compromise or negotiation, something like that. So there's a lot that goes on in my mental space before I approach anything.
I remember one time we were actually in dance class. You remember this? In dance class, I was trying to I was telling you about a movement, and I'm looking at that movement from a standpoint of being safe, from safety standpoint. And I saw your arm go a certain way, and I said, "Don't lock your arm." And we got into it wasn't a heated altercation, but it was emotionally charged. And the thing was, the bottom line is, once we actually talked about it, because I said it a couple times, and she was like, "Don't yell at me." And once we actually talked about it, what we found out is that she didn't hear what I said. It was funny after. It was funny because it was we both got kind of upset, irritated. Now we didn't clown each other in public or nothing like that, but we both got emotionally irritated and upset with each other. But the bottom line was, she didn't hear what I had said, and I thought she was ignoring what I was saying. And I was like, "I'm just trying to protect you. Why in the world would I look at you like this or whatever? I'm trying to protect you because the way that your arm was, you could have hurt yourself, blah, 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 blah." But the bottom line is, she just didn't hear what I said. And so that little thing could have taken the whole relationship and turned it all the way upside down. And it would have been something so dramatic based on something so simple. She just didn't hear me.
And the thing too, we have to be careful when we're in thinking and we assume. Because even I think in that case, I kept saying, "What do you? I don't understand what you're saying. What are you saying?" And it was like you wanted to make sure that your point got across, and you're not hearing what I'm saying. So there are times when we have to be careful of that as well. Um, because yeah, we gotta make sure. But understanding is important in any conflict resolution. So I think that's a huge part of it.
You know, conflict in a relationship, and this is something that I'm learning. Conflict in any relationship is a um, it's where expectations were not met. Whenever you get mad at a person, it's because they didn't meet your expectations. And a lot of times, your expectations are not met because the person doesn't know that that's the expectation. And so we get mad at the person because they didn't meet that expectation, and the other person's like, "What are you talking about? Why you didn't pick me up at this time?" Well, you never even said nothing about picking you up at this time. Well, you know, I get off at this time, blah, 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 blah. And now you got a big argument. But really, expectation was not met because the expectation was not known.
So what I always wonder then, do we not have expectations of people, or is it important that we set expectations?
I both. Here's the thing. If you're going to have an expectation of a person, you have to let them know what that expectation is. Okay, because it's unfair to the relationship if you have the expectation and they don't know it, and then when they don't meet it, you're mad. Now you're mad at them, but they didn't know, or they might not even have the capacity to fulfill that expectation. You know, if you're expecting a person in relationship, we're talking relationship, like married couples or whatever, like us. If you're expecting a person to pay all the bills, let's say the bills for the month $3,000, but they work at a job that doesn't bring in $3,000 a month, they don't have the capacity to meet that expectation. But because you're expecting them to pay all these bills and they can't do it, now you're mad. Now the relationship gets terminated because the bills are not paid. It's over money. So it's not fair to hold a person accountable for something that they can't fulfill.
So when is it a critical? Because I think that's huge. So for me, I try to in anything, just you don't want to put expectations or have expectations so you're not disappointed. But then at a point you have to have, are expectations and standards the same thing? Similar but not.
Expectations, you can have a no, they're not the same thing. You can have a standard. Your standard is this. Now your expectation, for example, my standard is, when you and I got together, my standards were, you have to have these particular boxes checked. Okay, that's my standard. Here. Okay. Now my expectation is how you function inside of those standards. I want you to, let's say, and I'm not saying this as an expectation, but let's say I want you to read the Bible 7 days a week, all day long.
Okay.
You know, that's an expectation. Now that's an unrealistic expectation because you have life. But oh no, you have life that you have to do. No, my expectation is this. So now we fall out because you have a life. But my expectation is something else.
Okay. So expectations are important in conflict resolution and understanding those expectations. So when do you set those expectations?
Well, depending on I believe okay, for me, I have to be okay. What helped me in relationship is I had to go all the way back to the beginning before relationship was ever formed. Okay, and back in the beginning, it was just one person.
I like one person. Like when it's me, it's easy.
Yeah, but it's not. But God said it's not good.
I know, but still, because self said.
Yeah, got it. No, but so what I had to do was actually go back to the beginning and find out what was the person that God created originally. What was he like? Then when I started studying him. Then God said, this man is going to be doing this. You need to do that, do all this other stuff, right? Then he says, now I'm going to bring along a helper. And what is the helper for? To help fulfill what God has called him to do. So God created one first, then he brought the other with him, right? Okay. So the expectation that God had for man, talking about the species of man, was to have dominion over the earth. But Adam needed, not God, Adam needed help. So what God brought was someone that has a function. And so God had an expectation. What the expectation was to manage the earth, right? Mm-hmm. But the function for the two people was different. Mm-hmm. Adam needed help. So Adam was doing this function and Eve was doing this function. Mm-hmm. So if you don't understand what your functions are, even though you might have expectations, you still might be off because you don't understand the function of each person. Mm-hmm. So if the expectation is to run this household, well, underneath that expectations, we have functions that we both need to be able to fulfill. Mm-hmm. Notice I said we have to be able to fulfill. Adam couldn't fulfill everything because he needed help from Eve. Now, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, husbands, live with your wife according to knowledge. And then he talks about her being the weaker vessel. Well, if you read that scripture, I think I sent it to you.
You did.
Find the scripture for me, because there's a piece in there that we miss that's very, very crucial. I think it's in, is that Peter?
Yeah, 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to the knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Right. So okay, so I've been taught in church that husbands love your wife, live with your wife according to knowledge, because she's the weaker vessel. Mm. That's how I've been taught. Mm. That's not what that scripture says. Mm. That scripture says, live with your wife according to knowledge, as unto weaker vessel. Read it again.
Yep. As unto the weaker vessel.
So in other words, that word as means just like. She's a weaker vessel, which means she's delicate. Mm-hmm. She's delicate. So I can't deal with you on a rough.
It don't work.
You agree with that, huh?
Yeah, that's correct.
So I can't deal with you being rough. I have to deal with you very, very delicate, because that's what God commands us to do. So I can't yell at you. It's not good for me to yell at you, because you don't receive it like that. No. Now some women out there, they strong.
I'm strong too, and I'm trying not to fight. I'm trying not to fight.
Yeah. So you have to husbands, we have to deal with a wife according to knowledge, which means I have to study you. I have to find out what it is that makes you, because you didn't tell me this. I had to actually find this out, and I found it out based on the that situation we had, that you don't like a person to
don't yell at me.
Yeah, to raise their voice.
Don't raise your voice.
Yeah, so it's not because I don't yell. I wasn't yelling. I raised my voice because I thought that you wasn't hearing what I was saying. So I raised my voice. So me raising my voice was interpreted by you as me yelling. So now I know, okay, I'm not gonna raise my voice. What I'm gonna do instead is get closer to you, so I can make sure, and I probably touch you like this, so I can make sure you're understanding what I'm saying.
Don't choke me like you want to do those kids.
Oh no, I'm choking kids. I got choking kids. But it's simply making sure I have your attention. If I have to hold your hand, making sure that you're understanding, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that, because what's best for us. Okay. And once we do that, then we're good. So we don't have a lot of
no, but when it's a loss in connection. When we do, there's a definite loss in connection. And because you value the relationship, sometimes you have to come out of yourself and okay, does this person mean me harm? And it's important to resolve the conflict, and better sooner than later, because
if you let it fester, man,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good. If you let those unresolved issues just go,
Yeah.
they grow. Those are they're like seeds, man. They will grow, and next thing you know, you get some fruit. And it's funny how.
Well, I like what it was outlined here. You go talking to other people about it before you even talk to that person. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it's some people probably don't like. You know, you did something and they don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a simple misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm. Most of the times it is.
Most
Most
times it's a
times it's a
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding. Yeah.
Very few times is it actual, and if it is, it can be resolved if you value. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some things, of course, you know, you can forgive, and that relationship might not be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But many, if you value it and it's a misunderstanding, it can be fixed.
Now, you know, one thing is you have to be careful who you go and talk to concerning those issues, especially in relationship. You want to find somebody who is completely neutral when you go and talk to somebody about it. You want to find somebody who's completely neutral, who cannot and will not be biased, because a lot of times people go and talk to their family about issues that's happening in the relationship, and then next thing you know, the family is all looking at the other person some kind of crazy way. You know, they used to fix a plate of food one way. Now they fix a plate of food. And, you know,
You don't even get a plate.
Yeah, you
no
don't get a
more.
plate. You don't get invited to events. But no, it's good to go, and if you got to talk to somebody who's completely neutral. And what I liked, I had to go and talk to a counselor one time, and what he did was we never talked about the other person. We simply talked about like what was your part in that. And so now when you and I have any type of an issue, my thing is not what you did or what you said or what you didn't do or what you didn't say. Mine is what was my part in that. How did I handle that situation? So like this weekend, she got mad at me this weekend, y'all. She was hot. She was hotter than fish grease. She was hot. And now I know it, but at the time I didn't know it. You know, she was hot. She got mad at me. So, and then she, you know, told me about what she was mad at. And my thing was I was completely clueless to what I did. I was like, huh? Like what?
That you set expectations and you did not meet the expectation. And in between, there is a reason. There's reasons why you didn't meet the expectations. And so that's yeah. Yeah, you
So
set them expectations.
one of the expectations she's speaking of is
You
I'm saying it.
Why?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You didn't discuss it with me. I don't know if we even cleared this up yet.
It's a known thing. It's not major. One of the expectations, I don't think you'd be mad at this one. One of the expectations is when we go dancing, she's the first person. We are the first people to dance together. The very first song we dance is going to be together, and then the last song we dance is going to be together. So what happened? One of the things that happened. I'm not gonna say everything, but one of the things that happened. I noticed this, but when I figured it out, I was like, whoa, okay. One of the things that happened was the last dance of the night. I didn't dance with Tamika, and so that's an expectation that was not met. And I'm not gonna make excuses for it. The bottom line is I didn't do it. I didn't dance with her.
Who set this expectation?
We did.
You did. Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah. And because I didn't dance with Tamika because my mind was not. I didn't realize it was the last song. I didn't. In fact, I didn't realize it was the last song until I looked over and I saw you had you putting your shoes on, and I was like, and then I told I told Q, I was like, Q, one more song, man. One more time.
Q was like, I done said it 5 times, fella.
But yeah.
Anyway,
and so that was an expectation that was not met that we had set. And so again, I had to look at what was my part in, you know, why she was mad. I didn't meet the expectation. I apologize. I didn't
No,
apologize
you
to you.
did not.
I apologize. I'm sorry. On worldwide film.
It's okay.
But we good now. But yeah, that was an expectation that was not met, that we had set, and I don't make excuses for it. The bottom line is I didn't fulfill it. And so yeah. And so she was upset with me. She really was. And she didn't cuss me out and all that stuff there. She didn't talk crazy and she didn't front me out. So I don't know why I had to say that. That's for somebody.
I mean,
No,
that's not how I operate.
I know,
anyway.
But just the fact that I had to say that on live, because there are some women out there that will clown their.
I don't clown in public. We don't do that.
And so no, you don't want to do that.
You wouldn't know we having a disagreement.
I be knowing.
How you know? Because I be quiet.
Because I can not just because of that. I can sense it.
You sense my mind. I turned you into a frog.
First it was a tree. Now it's a frog. Well, I'll tell you. Okay.
You know when Moses and he went over there to the people and he was telling the people, let the people free, and how he was turning the stuff into stuff. That's how I do. God trying to get his message, he turning stuff into stuff. That's what happened, right? Is that Moses and Pharaoh? Right.
Moses and Pharaoh.
Okay. God had a message.
Mm-hmm. Let the people go.
He wasn't listening.
He wasn't listening.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So we handle conflict pretty well. He's more mature than me, because I won't talk to him for a while.
Yeah. Trish said, "For some people saying some stuff."
What they saying? I'm supposed to be looking.
Yeah, but you have to, when you know who you are, again, it's going back to identity. When you know who you are, you don't have to raise your voice and try and get your point across and all that craziness. There's a level of swagger you can have when you know who you are, and that person is not going to respond to you in a crazy way when you know who you are. So she knows who she is. I know who I am. So we don't have to fuss and fight. That's a waste of time.
It doesn't work.
It don't work. It don't work.
Yep. Trish said family is never the answer. We've all done that though. I remember I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you bring the person back around and it's so uncomfortable. Like, man, I should have never said anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't like you.
Yeah, because they don't forget.
No,
they hold. They might still smile, but they hold on to whatever you told them that was negative.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you go to family reunions now. You got to sit by yourself. You didn't even get a family reunion T-shirt.
They spell your name wrong. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's not good. So we try to, and we give it. Do we give a time frame
for what?
On handling stuff?
No, I mean ours. What I've noticed is that whenever we have an issue, they usually last maybe a day.
24.
Yeah, 24. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to discuss issues when you're mad. That's not good either, because again, your emotions are still wrapped up in that issue. So you want to give yourself some time to process it, to think about it, and fight fair. When you do have the conversation, there's this thing. I mean, it's actually powerful. It's connection is powerful. Physical touch is powerful. If you can have a conversation and you're able to physically touch each other, not in a I'm gonna put it like this: physically touch each other in a non-sexual way. Holding hands, going for a walk, and discuss. It's amazing the power of touch and how it can actually calm things down. But now you can also touch in a way that can increase the anger. For example, if I walk up to you, we're in an argument or we're in a disagreement, we're discussing it, and I grab you by your shoulders like this, grab you by your shoulders, that can be taken or interpreted as a defensive thing, and you're gonna automatically go on defense, and you start swinging.
Boxing.
See, I told you, you're gonna start swinging. However, I can do the same gesture, but instead of being a grab, it can be a rub, and you'll calm down because of how the physical touch happened. Or I can simply grab you by your hand and be like, "Hey, look, oh, okay, I'm understanding." My voice tone and all that stuff there can guide the emotions of the conversation. Like, come on, really? I'm trying to get my point across. I grab your hand and be like, "Really? Come on now. You know me. You know me. That's not even my heart's desire.
Oh, okay.
You know me.
Okay.
Come on now. We're a team. And it's always about we. Yeah. We. Not an I. Not an I. It's about a we. Come on. We can't do that. Come on. We're better than that. Never fight at each other. Fight with each other."
Trish said try to fix it before bedtime.
Yeah. Try. Yeah. Try to fix it before bedtime.
This is not easy work. Like, this is not easy work. Because for me, I'm a runner. I'm out. Okay. Oh, you don't want to talk to me? That's fine.
Peace.
No problem. Pew. Out of there. Yeah. Out of there. So maturity is standing in uncomfortable situations and working it out. Yeah.
And using those biblical principles, men especially, deal with our spouse as
delicately.
As a weaker vessel. Delicately as a weaker vessel.
Fragile. Man, fragile. Delicate.
Yeah, delicately.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't carry a vase around just, all,
It depends on what kind of vase. What porcelain vases.
Yeah. Some people saying some stuff.
Oh, yes. Chrissy said relationship takes constant communication, either verbal or nonverbal. Positive and negative communication is healthy. Yeah. As long as we communicate, that is right. That is so true.
I'm so proud of Christy.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Because Christy, that's my cousin, y'all. And I remember growing up, she would always want to bite people. To this day, she still want to bite people. And her husband, very good guy, and I'm surprised he's not all bitten up.
That's the nonverbal communication. Golly. Don't be putting Christy out there like that. She'll bite you when she comes down here.
Yeah. Yeah, she always wanted to bite people. But anyway, no. Trish's. Wait a minute. Hold on. I lost my. Wait a minute.
See, you lost your stuff.
Okay, it fell off. My mic fell off.
Yeah. Get your mic together. You found it?
I found it, y'all.
Okay.
We're actually at the gym. We've been sitting out here for about 10 minutes.
Chris is saying my phone broke up. You lucky God saved you.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's important. But it takes, a relationship is more than I read a thing. It was like it's more than love. It's like working on it daily, like constant work on it.
Yeah. When you're focused on pleasing God, pleasing each other becomes easy. Because
I don't want God mad at me.
Yeah,
I turned you into a frog.
Look at that frog again. No, it's and using God's principles. He's the creator. He's gonna know better about how we are designed than anybody else. So when we find out what His word is concerning us, and we implement those things, we can't help but to get the results that we desire.
Yeah.
And so, I keep going back to the husbands, dealing with your wife as because she's delicate. Because it's there's so many people out here who have been damaged because they were just handled roughly. Yeah. It's like, and then that relationship ends, but because this person is damaged now, she gets with somebody else, and now she expects him to be the same way as the last person, and she actually could possibly turn him into that last person because of her expectations.
Yeah.
And so, man, you got to get healed from that stuff.
Yeah. But life is interesting because it's a journey of experiences, and we're trying to come together with different experiences. And for me, even if that work on self is so important, to work on your relationship with God is so important outside of anybody else. Because your traumas are your traumas, and even if healed, they leave scars. You still have scars, you still have triggers. So it's important to arm yourself with the tools. You have a toolbox full of items that can help you navigate successfully. So the word and the kingdom, and just being surrounded by in an environment that's conducive for successful relationships, that's important for me.
Yep. Trisha said something. She said comprehension.
Yeah, comprehensive is just as important as communicating, because if you don't comprehend what's being said, then the communication will be lost. That's good.
That's very good. There is
what's the three keys?
The three. I was just about to say that. The three keys. You have to have knowledge, and we're going to say them in order. You have to have knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Those three. Those are three pillars to communicate. That's three pillars, not just for communicating, but actually for everything. Yeah. Knowledge is if you got to get the information. Comprehension is you got to understand the information, and wisdom is the information being applied, properly applied. Yeah. And so in relationships, if you understand those three, when you're studying each other, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. So
Christy said, where y'all get those pillars from?
The Bible. Yeah. In all thy getting, type this in your, I don't know the exact scripture reference. I'll find it for you, but it says, in all thy getting, get understanding. It says wisdom is the principal thing, but in all thy getting, get understanding. It's New Testament. We'll find it for you, Christian. We'll post it in the, get understanding.
Yeah, we'll post it.
Yeah, we'll post it. We'll find it and post it on here. But yeah, in any type of relationship, those three pillars are very, very strong. It works for business as well. It works for business. So there are areas in business that we have to get information on, then we have to get comprehension on it, and then we have to implement it. And it works every single time. Proverbs, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, Proverbs. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's important, because one time I bought this watch and I just put it on, and I didn't know how to do anything on the watch. You know what I ended up having to do?
What? Read the manual?
Yep, go get the knowledge.
Well, the Bible, that watch was right twice a day.
You know what? Told you about trying to be a comedian this late in life. Like, no.
I am not a stand-up comedian.
Or a sit-down one.
I'm a sit-down comedian.
No.
Trish says, I'm reading the monthly book, Tamika Phillips.
Yes. The that's wonderful. We'll talk about that as well. The 4 agreements. So a monthly book.
The 4 agreements. 4 agreements on what?
You'll see when you read it. Asking you gotta go get the knowledge in the book. We're gonna understand it and we're gonna apply it.
What book is it in?
It's called The 4 Agreements.
Oh, that's the name of the book.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see what I posted?
I didn't see it. When you posted it? She quiet. She processing. See, Kristen didn't know it.
What?
Kristen didn't know it. Kristen saying share ?
Yeah, I'll share it.
It's on Audible?
You can listen to it as well.
Yeah, I have to get Audible. I realized Audible works better for me.
You know why?
Why?
You're analytical, and you need to, like, you have to have a deeper understanding. So you You make sure that the words are saying what the words are saying.
Yeah.
So you're big on understanding.
I'm big on words. In fact, I woke up at 3 something this morning.
You did?
Because of a word.
Yeah. It was troubling you?
Yeah. Because I need to understand, like, okay, there's some, because what I'm battling with is, what the conflict that I'm dealing with is the conflict of my former teaching / training and new material. And so of course, I lean toward new material. I'm like, okay.
But you know what that shows? Because sometimes we, again, even us sharing this information, we're gonna, the reading of the books and sharing ideas, and you guys can share with us too, because some people have lots. I mean, everybody has something to share, but the thing is, go study the stuff for yourself. Everything someone tells you, don't just swallow it. Go study and go read for yourself, and that way you can understand it, because maybe they read and understood it one way.
But I do believe that my former teachers read the Bible and studied the Bible.
Okay.
And, was able to gather what they taught me. I do believe they truly study. However, now I understand that when you have the wrong foundation, no matter how much you study, you're going to get the wrong, the mindset of what you're reading is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So, so I used to say, just read for yourself, you have to really break down the words so you can get a good understanding of the foundation of the author's thoughts. Because again, words are important. Words are very important. So if I tell you to give me some bread today, give me bread. I do like this, and you put a loaf of bread in my hand, I'll be looking at you like, what are you doing?
I thought bread was money.
Bread is money in today's time.
Oh.
But back then, when they say bread, they talking about bread.
Oh.
So my point is, you have to understand the time and the dispensation that the words that was going forth were used, so you can have an understanding of what they're talking about. Like the word sin, we call sin all this other stuff, and that's not what sin actually is. Sin simply means separation. So so it's important to study and find out what the foundation of what you're reading really is, so that you can have the right mindset, and you have the right mindset, and then everything becomes like a building. The building blocks. You have the right building blocks of your understanding. So anyway,
so the book, I'll send it, but it's the 4 agreements.
Is that something you're gonna talk about on the live?
We'll talk about it. We can talk about it. You gonna read it?
I'll read. I gotta get the audio book, but I'll read it.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Now, the audio book, you don't like the people's voices.
No, I don't. I know how to tone out the voices. I don't like the people's voices when I'm listening to audio on the Bible.
Okay.
But I listen to the words, and a word to grab my attention, then I start researching. But
it's the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay. When is the next live? What are we gonna talk about? What do you want to talk about?
Okay, Cody Rhodes wrestling. Is that Cody? Yeah, that's Cody Rhodes. Well, we're gonna let this develop. So we're gonna give the people a week. Wish them a great week of studying, great week of resolving conflict.
Yeah, so y'all don't be out there fighting each other.
And if y'all got some broken relationships that y'all need to mend, I'm not saying what to do, but I'm just saying, make sure it wasn't a misunderstanding. So we're also going to be doing some live with 2-Step. So this is the beginning of the second quarter of the year, and so we're going to be doing some live videos of the Houston 2-Step, starting with some foundational stuff. So we have a YouTube channel that we're going to post at some point, and you guys can subscribe to it and start following us also on YouTube. So this thing's going to be big, man. We're looking at, we want to help
as many people as possible. It's all about helping people. So stay tuned for that.
Helps us too.
Yeah, it helps us. So help us to help you to help us to help you to help us. So anyway, it's been fun. Good information. Oh, the quiet one, right?
I am quiet.
Yeah, okay. She quiet. She used to work in the sawmill.
I don't know what that means.
Sawmill is okay. I'll explain offline, but it's good. So, but yeah. So the next, I mean, post some ideas. We're gonna actually, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. We because people hear us talk about the kingdom a lot, but again, in this Western civilization that we're in, people don't understand what kingdom really is. They think kingdom is Christianity, and it's not. And so, so we're gonna break down what the Bible talks about concerning kingdom and what the Bible really means, so that you'll have a good foundation of your spirituality. Okay, so the next live we do, we're going to simply talk about kingdom concepts, kingdoms. We're going to break down kingdom, the word kingdom, as well as the function of kingdom. Okay, so we're looking at doing that. Well, just stay tuned. That's all I can say. Just stay tuned. So with that being said, we're going to go and get our workout on. We love you guys. Great talking with you.
Love you guys.
We appreciate the inputs, and we will see you later.
Bye. Did you do peace?
I did. Peace.
Peace.